Today I'm going to show you how I turned this really nice sapele chocolate bowl. I started out by sharpening my tools on my new bench grinder and then used my screwdriver to attach the blank to the faceplate. I then started roughing it to the round. I used my round scraper to do this and then shaped the profile to how I wanted it to look. I went for a fairly simple bowl design as I really like simple contemporary feels to these bowls. Sapele turns really well and I would really encourage you to give it a try. Cherry also turns really well, but sapele is one of my favourite woods, so I used that. I sanded from 120 grit through to 400 grit, as I wanted a really smooth finish, as this was going to be a present for someone. I then moved the tool rest so it was facing the bowl and started hollowing it out. As you just saw on the timer there, I think it said 33 minutes. I think this whole bowl took me about 45 minutes to make, but I've now managed to turn tiny bowls in about half an hour. Although I'm not so bothered how long they take, I'm more bothered by how they look at the end. As you can see, I took lots of shallow passes and checked with a ruler and a steel rule to ensure that I didn't go through the bottom of the bowl and create a funnel. I then sanded from 120 grit through to 400 grit, making sure I didn't skip any grit grades as it would leave imperfections in the bowl's surface. I used a bit of kitchen towel to remove any sawdust before applying Woodturner's blend to the outside of the bowl. If you're interested in purchasing any Woodturner's blend, there's a link to it in the description down below. It's an ultra deluxe finish with a subtle shine to it. I used this bowl to experiment with Woodturner's blend and see how many layers you can build up. I think I put 4 in this bowl and it left a really nice finish. I buffed it off after each layer and this created a really hard wearing outside surface, which I was really happy with. As you can see, I just used the Woodturner's blend stick to push it into the surface of the bowl in any bits which didn't quite cover the first time. If you're interested about Woodturner's blend or have any questions about how I apply the finish, put them in the comment section and I'll do my best to answer them. After a bit of experimentation, I found Woodturner's blend works best at room temperature, although it's fine slightly below or slightly above, but I wouldn't recommend applying it in 30-degree heat as it doesn't apply very well. And the reason I've tried this is when it was a really hot day, I tried Woodturner's blend to see what would happen, and it works perfectly fine, it just melts a bit quicker so it's a bit harder to work with. I then applied food safe finish to the inside of the bowl, and then buffed it off as I do on all the bowls. You could apply more than one layer of food safe finish, but I don't see the need, especially given it's already got a wax finish on the outside which stops water getting into it, and then the food safe finish just acts as a barrier. And especially given these bowls only have like chocolates in them and things, they're not having really messy foods or things that need a lot of cleaning afterwards. In my opinion, sapele is one of the best woods for finish. It accepts the finish really well and looks really nice. I then used my bench grinder to sharpen my parting tool and attempted to part this bowl off the best I could. I found the parting to be okay, but I was a bit unsure what to do, so if you have any recommendations of how to part, I would really appreciate if you would put them in the comment section below. I have been reading a couple of wood turning books which have been especially helpful, but I would really appreciate any feedback you have. I then used my tenon saw to cut through the last bit and used my belt sander to clean up the bottom, although I recommend just using a hand sander like I did there, otherwise you can leave a few scuffs in the bowl. Here's a couple of shots of how it turned out. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed this video.